Tom Hanks walked into that dimly lit restaurant thinking it was just another business dinner. But when he saw who was waiting for him in the corner booth, his blood ran cold. The man sitting there had destroyed careers with a single phone call, and now he wanted something from Tom that would force America's most beloved actor to choose between his family's safety and his moral compass. What happened in the next 90 minutes would either save Hollywood or destroy it completely. October 23, 1998. The Ivy restaurant in Beverly Hills was buzzing with the usual mix of industry power players and celebrity watch. Tom had just finished filming You've Got Mail with Meg Ryan, and the early buzz suggested another massive hit. Life was good, better than good. He was at the peak of his career, respected by peers, adored by audience, and financially secure beyond imagination. But as Tom's black sedan pulled up to the restaurant valet stand, he felt an unusual knot of anxiety in his stomach. The dinner invitation had come through unusual channel, not from his agent, not from a studio executive, but from a man named Vincent Torino, who claimed to represent international investors interested in expanding into entertainment. Tom's business manager had been hesitant about me. I can't find much information about this guy. Tom, are you sure you want to do this? But Tom was curious. Independent finance was becoming increasingly important in Hollywood, and if legitimate foreign money wanted back quality American film, why not explore the opportunity? What Tom didn't know was that he was walking into the most dangerous meeting of his life. The Maître d' led Tom through the restaurant's elegant dining room to a secluded corner booth. Sitting there was a man in his late 50s, impeccably dressed in a charcoal suit that probably cost more than most people's cars. His gray hair was perfectly styled, his manicured hand folded calmly on the white tablecloth. He looked like any other wealthy businessman. But when Vincent Torino looked up and smiled, Tom saw something in his eye that made him instantly uncomfortable. It wasn't warmth or friendly. It was the look of a predator who had just spotted prey. Mr. Hank, Torino stood and extended his hand. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you don't mind, but I took the liberty of ordering wine. 1982 Bordeaux. I thought you might appreciate something special. Tom shook the man's hand, noting the firm grip and the expensive watch. Nice to meet you, Mr. Torino. I have to admit, I'm curious about this opportunity, man. Please sit. We have much to discuss. As Tom settled into the leather banquette, he noticed they were positioned so that Torino could see the entire restaurant while Tom's back was to the room. It was a small detail, but it felt deliberate, strategic. But the real shock came when Torino opened his briefcase. Mr. Hank, before we discuss business, I want to show you something. Consider it a gesture of good faith. Torino pulled out a manila folder and slid it across the table. Tom opened it cautiously and immediately felt sick to his stomach. Inside were photographs, professional quality, taken with telephoto lenses from hidden vantage points. The first showed Tom's wife Rita Wilson leaving their Beverly Hills home. The second showed their son Colin walking across the USC campus. The third showed their younger son Truman at his private school playground. But it wasn't just surveillance photo. There were detailed daily schedules: Rita's yoga class, lunch meet, charity event, Colin's class schedule, his part-time job at a record store, his girlfriend's address, Truman's school pickup time, soccer practice, weekend activity. Tom's hands were shaking as he looked through the fold. What the hell is this? Torino smiled calm. Insurance, Mr. Hank. I found that successful men like yourself respond better to business propositions when they understand the stakes involved. Are you threatening my family? Threatening? No, Mr. Hank. I'm simply demonstrating my capability. These photographs were taken over the past month. My associates are very good at their job. Tom realized he wasn't dealing with a film investor. He was facing something much worse. Tom's mind raced. He thought about getting up and walking out, but Torino's calm demeanor suggested that wouldn't end well. He thought about calling the police, but what would he say? That a man had shown him legal surveillance photo. What do you want? Tom asked, his voice tight with controlled anger. I want to offer you an opportunity, Mr. Hank. A chance to be part of something much larger than Hollywood entertainment. Torino signaled to the waiter for more wine, as if they were having a pleasant social dinner. Tell me, what do you know about money laundering? Tom felt the blood drain from his face. I don't know anything about money laundering, and I don't want. Of course you don't. You're a good man, Mr. Hank. A moral man. That's exactly why you're perfect for what I need. Torino leaned forward slightly. My organization moves approximately $200 million through various businesses each year. Restaurant, construction company, import-export firm. But we've identified entertainment as the most efficient vehicle for large-scale financial transfer. You want me to help you launder money through movie production. I want you to help me legitimize certain financial transactions through your production. Clean money, Mr. Hank. By the time it reaches your account, it will be completely legal. But the proposal got even more sinister. Here's how it worked. Torino continued, pulling out a second fold. You establish a series of shell companies for film development. These companies receive investment from my associates, legitimate businessmen from Russia, Eastern Europe, South America. They're simply movie lovers who want to support American cinema. Tom stared at the detailed financial charts Torino was showing. The amounts were staggering. 50 million here, 75 million there, hundreds of millions of dollars flowing through fictional film projects that would never actually be made. The beauty of the entertainment industry, Torino explained, is that it's perfectly normal for projects to be developed and then abandoned. Scripts that never become moved, production that never start film. Investors lose money all the time in Hollywood. It's expected. But these investors wouldn't actually lose money. Correct. They would receive their return through various completely legal channels. Consulting fee, distribution, international sales agreement, everything documented, everything traceable to legitimate business activity. Tom felt like he was falling down a rabbit hole. And what's my role in all this? You attach your name to the project. Tom Hanks is developing a new film. Tom Hanks production company is seeking investor. Your reputation brings credibility. Who would question a Tom Hanks project? Then Torino revealed the full scope of his plan. Mr. Hanks, you would be surprised how many of your colleagues are already participating in similar arrangements. A-list director, major star, even some studio executive. This isn't some criminal conspiracy. It's simply an efficient way to move international capital into American market. Tom thought about some of the recent films he'd heard about. Big budget project that had been announced with great fanfare and then quiet disappeared. Had some of those been fronts for money laundering?
I don't believe you.
Torino pulled out his phone and showed Tom a series of text messages. Tom recognized several names, actors he'd worked with, directors he respected, producers he'd known for years. The messages were cryptic, but clearly referenced financial arrangement and project development. Mr. Hanks, I'm not asking you to do anything illegal. I'm asking you to lend your name to legitimate business ventures. You would make substantial profit with no risk whatsoever, except for destroying my career and going to prison if anyone finds out. No one will find out because there's nothing fine. These will be real company, real contract, real financial transaction. The only difference is the source of the initial capital. But Tom was about to learn the true cost of refusal. Tom closed the folder and slid them back across the table. I'm not into it. Find someone else for your scheme. Torino's expression didn't change, but something shifted in his eye. Mr. Hanks, I don't think you fully understand the situation. I understand it perfect. You want me to help you launder dirty money? The answer is no. The answer is yes, Mr. Hanks, because if it's not yet, then those photographs in the first folder become much more relevant to our conversation. Tom felt ice in his veins. What are you saying? I'm saying that your family's safety depends on your cooperation. Rita's yoga studio has very poor security. Colin walks alone to his car after evening class. Truman's school has only one security guard for 400 students. The restaurant suddenly felt too hot, too crowded, too loud. Tom could hear his own heartbeat pounding in his ear. You're threatening to hurt my family. I'm explaining the consequence of poor business decisions, Mr. Hanks. My associates in various cities have invested significant time and resources in this opportunity. They would be very disappointed if you declined their generous offer. Tom realized he was trapped in an impossible situation. Tom's mind raced through his options. He could agree to the scheme and hope to find a way out later. He could refuse and hope that Torino was bluffing about threat. He could try to go to the authorities, but what proof did he have of anything illegal? How much time do I have to decide? The first project needs to be announced within 2 weeks. A World War II drama. Very much the kind of film Tom Hanks would naturally want to develop. $40 million budget, international cast, potential Oscar contender. And if I refuse? Torino finished his wine and signaled for the check. Mr. Hanks, you're not going to refuse, because you're a smart man who loves his family more than anything else in the world. Tom felt trapped. Every instinct told him to fight, to refuse, to find a way to expose this conspiracy. But the photographs of his family haunted. What if Torino wasn't bluffed? I need to think about it. Of course, take your time. But remember, Mr. Hanks, my associates are very impatient men. They don't appreciate indecision. But Tom Hanks was about to make the most dangerous decision of his life. As they left the restaurant, Torino handed Tom a biz card. My contact information. When you're ready to discuss the detail, call me. Don't take too long. Tom drove home in a daze, his mind spinning with the implications of what he'd just learned. Was this really happening? Was he actually being recruited into a money laundering operation with threats against his family? At home, he found Rita reading in bed, completely unaware of the danger swirling around them. Colin was in his room studying for midterm. Truman was asleep, his school backpack dropped by the door. Tom stood in his kitchen, holding Torino's business card, trying to process the impossible choice he was facing. Help criminals launder millions of dollars or risk his family's safety. But then Tom remembered something Forrest Gump had taught. Sometimes you just gotta do what's right. The next morning, Tom made a phone call that would change everything. Instead of calling Torino, Tom called his lawyer. Not his entertainment lawyer, but the criminal defense attorney who had helped him with a stalker case years earlier. David, I need to see you immediately, and I need you to contact the FBI. Tom, what's going on? I think I'm being recruited by organized crime, and they've threatened my family. Within 2 hours, Tom was sitting in a federal building in downtown Los Angeles, telling his story to FBI agents who specialized in financial crimes and organized crime investigation. Special Agent Sarah Chen listened to Tom's account with growing interest. Mr. Hanks, Vincent Torino is someone we've been investigating for 3 years. He's connected to several international crimes, and if he approached you, it means they're expanding their operations into entertainment. What about my family? The threat he made will provide protection immediately. But Mr. Hanks, we need your help. You might be our only way to get inside this organization. Tom faced the hardest choice of his life. Agent Chen explained the plan. Tom would appear to cooperate with Torino while wearing recording devices and providing information to the FBI. It would be dangerous, but it was the only way to gather evidence against the money laundering network. What if they find out I'm working? That's a risk we'll work to minimize. But Mr. Hanks, without your cooperation, these people will just move on to the next celebrity. They'll keep using the entertainment industry to launder money until someone stops them. Tom thought about other actors, other families who might face the same threats he was facing. Could he walk away and let that happen? How long would this take? Probably 6 months, maybe longer. You'd have to be very careful, very thin. One mistake could expose the entire operation. Tom made his decision. What do I need to do? For the next 8 months, Tom Hanks lived a double life. During the day, he was America's beloved movie star, filming scenes for Castaway and promoting You've Got Mail. But several evenings each month, he met with Vincent Torino and his associates, wearing hidden recording devices and gathering evidence of their money laundering operation. The stress was enormous. Tom lost weight, had trouble sleeping, and found it difficult to concentrate on his acting work. Rita knew something was wrong, but respected his request not to ask questions. The fake film projects moved forward with surprise speed. Tom's production company announced development of 3 major films, attracting international investors who provided tens of millions in funds. The FBI traced the money back criminal organizations in 6 countries, but everything nearly fell apart during one terrifying day. In March 1999, Torino invited Tom to a more exclusive gathering at a private estate in Malibu. Tom arrived to find not just Torino, but 5 other men he'd never seen before. The FBI had warned him this might happen. Higher-level members of the organization wanted to meet their newest Hollywood asset. The conversation quickly turned aggressive. One of the men, speaking with a heavy Eastern European accent, questioned whether Tom could be trusted. "Maybe Mr. Movie Star thinks he's too good for our business," the man said. "Maybe he goes to police." Yes. Tom's blood ran cold. Had they discovered his cooperation with the FBI? "Victor, please," Torino intervened. "Mr. Hanks has been completely cooperative. His projects are already showing excellent return." But Victor wasn't satisfied. "I want to test his commitment. Give him something more personal to hand." They wanted Tom to recruit other celebrities in the scheme. Victor slid a list across the table. On it were the names of 12 major Hollywood stars, actors, director, producers. Some were Tom's friends. "These people they trust. Yes. You tell them about good investment opportunities. Very profitable. Very safe." Tom stared at the list, his heart pounding. They wanted him to actively recruit other celebrities into their money laundering operation. "I can't do that. These people would ask too many questions." "Then you convince them not to ask questions," Victor said cold. "Or maybe your family has accident. These things happen in Los Angeles. Very dangerous city." Tom realized the threats were escalating. It was time to end this. 3 days later, the FBI moved in. The raids happened simultaneously across Los Angeles, New York, Miami, and several international locations. Vincent Torino was arrested at his Beverly Hills office. Victor and his associate were taken in custody at LAX as they tried to board a private jet to Moscow. The evidence Tom had gathered led to the seizure of over $400 million in laundered money and the arrest of 37 people involved in the conspiracy. But the real victory was what never happened. Because Tom had cooperated with the FBI, dozens of other celebrities were never approached by the money laundering network. The scheme was shut down before it could corrupt the entertainment industry on a massive scale. Tom testified in closed hearing. His identity as an informant kept secret for his family protection. Vincent Torino received a sentence of 25 years in federal prison. Victor was extradited to face charges in 3 countries. The aftermath changed Tom's perspective forever. Castaway was released in 2000, critical acclaim and massive box office success. Tom's performance earned him another Oscar nomination. But for him, the real achievement was knowing that his family was safe and that he'd helped stop a criminal conspiracy. Years later, when the full story was finally declassified, Tom reflected on those 8 months of danger and deception. Acting is about becoming someone else for a while, but sometimes real life requires you to become the best version of yourself. The secret meeting at the Ivy restaurant had indeed almost ended Tom's career, not because of scandal or failure, but because he'd been willing to risk everything to do what was right.